channel, wherever, whichever part of the world you live in. So, welcome to the Adnan Hour, and this is gonna my first broadcast in English or speech in English, as you may call it. And today's topic is the relevance of marriage in a modern society, or let us see. Hold on. Relevance of marriage in modern living. Okay, like, is it relevant today? That is the question. You see, a lot of people, they're getting pressurized into marriage, what parents tell them, what society tells them. But the question is, what do they want themselves? Do they want to get married? Are they sorry, physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially, all four important areas that have to be in equilibrium? Are they stable in all four of them? Okay, that's one. And of course, yes, the social factor, it also comes into play. Like, excuse me, how social are they? How social is this person? Because you see, marriage, it's a legal contract, it's as well as a social contract. Like, you just don't marry the person just, because you want to, you want to get into a physical relationship. Yeah, that's why you want marriage. Well, I would like to say this, that you're putting the, sorry for my for my use of the word vagina on a pedestal. If you think, yes, I want marriage, I want a pure girl, this and that, I'm sorry to say, but this is the reality. Look at the West. Unfortunately, the West has improved in this area. It's the third world nations, that are still struggling with this. But thankfully, as more and more people are getting, especially women, are getting more and more educated, they understand the importance of first education and making a career for themselves. Then they want to think about the concept of marriage. Yeah, it's true. We now live in an egalitarian society where men and women are both being educated, getting into jobs, making money for themselves, and then, yes, deciding whether they want to get married. And yes, I would say only if you want to get married, you should do it. Otherwise, let's say you're living single and you find that you are good doing by yourself, you are doing good by yourself in whatever part of your life. And then, of course, then don't marry. If you feel like you don't want to get married, you want to remain single, then by all means stay single. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they think that being single is bad, this and that. Well, it is true to an extent, but only for those who, like, don't know how to handle themselves staying single. They haven't fully explored themselves. That's the thing. Now, the reason why people get married, so many reasons. One is like they really need someone, they're alone, they need someone. And even if they don't like that person, they'll just marry anyone. Even if they don't, yeah, like I said, even if they don't like, they'll just marry. Like whoever they want at this moment, they'll marry. The second part, people really fall in love, and yes, they get married, they want to have a family, they want to continue the generation. Yeah, they like raising children. Yeah, they do. And the third reason is people do that because, you know why? They themselves due to some past trauma. They feel they alone are not good enough. They have not done the inner work in themselves. The inner work, the mental work, the deep work. They have not done it, and yet they want someone to fill that gap. See, this is known as being codependent. Never depend on someone else for your well-being. You alone are responsible for your own well-being. Yeah, you're important for your own well-being. And of course, so many other reasons. These are the ones I just gave. So therefore, if you are not happy with your own well-being, then how do you expect the other person to make you happy? Oh, Dr. Franco Gomez. Oh, sorry, Francisco Gomez. Sorry. One question: did marriage originate from religion? If so, if yes, then which particular religion? Marriage, or let us put it this way: monogamy. Monogamy. You know what happened with monogamy? If you look at the history of monogamy, See, the higher people in the higher tier, the higher echelon, they were having access to women. But you see, the Tom, Dicks, and the Harrys, they needed women to continue their generation. So what to do? They were all given one woman each. So monogamy was imposed. Was actually it was imposed on them. Monogamy, let's say, society has imposed monogamy. Humans are biologically speaking are not monogamous, especially men. Men are meant to spread their seed far and wide because if they marry one person, God forbid that one person for whatever reason died, then that progeny, that generation, the next generation's over. So you don't know which person may die. So as a result, what men do, they spread their seed far and wide. Look at history. Go argue with biology and social science if you have any arguments about it. It's not my word. Look at history. Look at the history of the kings, the emperors, the counts, the dukes. Even in the Indian subcontinent, look at the history. Were they all married to one person? Or and okay, so this is being single. Okay, let's talk about living in together. Well, if you two people are living in together, if you prefer that and you're fine with it, you don't want kids right now. You're fine with each other's company. You like each other's company, and you think that right now you prefer living together because because marriage comes with a lot of burden. Then, oh, by all means, go and do that. You'll then live together. So, like I said, traditional marriage, excuse me, nowadays it's not what it used to be. And why I told you because women's education it's going up. Women's careers, job preferences. They want jobs. They want careers. They want to make money. Their desire to make money, desire for jobs. So they want to first get settled, and what they want to do, then they want to think of having a family. So yes, yeah, in today's society, it's not. I wouldn't say it's relevant. And yes, you want to be single and you like doing things being single. I mean, you're single. You know how to move your life. You know how to work alone. You feel good doing it. You feel good doing the things you want to do alone. And you think that bringing someone else in your life is going to become a burden. Like, yeah, like your me time, the time you take to develop yourself. Yeah, it's going to be stripped away. It's true. Because you will have to commit to the other person. You'll have to commit your time. You'll have to commit your resources to the other person. So, anybody want to give any questions? You please write it in the chat. Any questions? Any questions? Any agreements? Disagreements? I would like to hear it. So the it's up to you if you want to get married, or let's say you want to get married, but it should be when you are feeling ready. Like, yes, I'm stable. I can do this. I can care for another person. I can duties and responsibilities. I have. I can. I'm responsible for the other person. Then, by all means, go ahead, get married. Only when you feel ready. Otherwise, don't. Because society, it's run by people who sadly speaking, they can't keep with the times. They really can't. They're still stuck in the old ways. So, anybody have any questions? Please type in. Is it relevant today in today's society? I would love to hear it. And also, yes, and yes, along with marriage, what do you have to do? You have your in-laws. You have your in-laws, your wife's or your husband's brother, sister, this and that. You have to give time, care, do this, do that. Like I said, it's also a social contract. It's a social contract. Like, are you social? Can you handle, the social as well as the mental? It comes with mental personal. If you like being alone, you're naturally born loner like me, naturally born loner, then yeah, and you feel like you're overwhelming, then please, by all means, I would prefer that you do your own research before getting married. Like if it's right for you or not. As well as, okay, let's say you were given the partner. Why don't you uh, do a thorough research on your partner before you commit to the partner? Let's say arranged marriage. Now, somebody arranged a person for you. Like I would prefer you do due diligence regarding that person, on person's background, person's nature, past, everything, this and that, everything. And only then, and only if you feel you're ready for marriage, then by all means go ahead. The same applies not only to women, the same applies to men as well. To tell you the truth, yes, there are so many live-in couples today who are happy, who want to take it slow. They want to get to know each other before they want to commit marriage. They want to get married, which is why after they live together for so many years and then finally they get married. Yeah, like I said, they don't initially have kids. After a couple of years, then they decide to have kids if they want to, and even if they want to, they feel like they're ready. They can take care of their kids. Then fine, then they can do it. As well as being single. Yes, being single has its advantages, but people said, yeah, you're single. Excuse me. Who's gonna care for you? Who's gonna do this? Who's gonna do that for you? Nowadays, yeah, in the past, the words were true, but nowadays it doesn't ring true. See, especially in the case for men. In the man's world, you may want a woman, but you don't need a woman. You see, unfortunately, people they mix these two together, wants and needs. What you need as a man, you need food, water, and shelter. Again, food, water, and shelter. You need food, water, and shelter. And on your journey to self development, on your journey in life, if she wants to join you, then by all means. After you've vetted her or screened her and seen that she's a good candidate, then by all means let her be your partner on your journey. Otherwise, you'll have to continue the journey on your own. Again, anybody wanting to type anybody arguments, questions, please, they'll be welcomed. In fact, to tell you the truth, nowadays many of the younger generation don't want to get married because you see, the divorce rate, the marriage rate, and the divorce rate are day by day becoming more and more equal. There's a higher rate of divorce. Why? Because these people were not ready for marriage. They didn't, vet each other out. Or let us put it this way: marriage, it was like thrusted upon them by society. And if your parents do like force you to get married, want you to force you to get married, what you can do, of course, there are now legal steps you can take. So you can also consult with your lawyer. So in other words, the in today in modern living, living in an egalitarian society, men and women are equal. So yeah, the concept of marriage, yeah, it doesn't. Concept of marriage, yeah, it's not like what it used to be. Because back then, the men were the sole earners for their families, the providers, and yeah, protectors. Nowadays, women are also doing jobs, they're earning money, They're getting educated. And yes, if a nation has to progress, both sexes have to be educated. So I would like to hear it again. What is your concept of marriage? I mean, sorry, what are your agreements or disagreements in today's topic? Okay. Mr. Mufassil Islam, would you join in and please give your input? We would love to hear it. Like I said, if you're ask yourself this question: are you ready for marriage? Are you ready to take on the duties and responsibilities of someone else in your life? I want you to ask yourself this question deeply when you're alone. You should take time for yourself and ask. Somebody says, wants you to get married, and again, you just get married. We have to come out of this thinking. We have to start asking ourselves, what is it that we want? What is it that we want? So, what is it that I want? I want. Exactly, me first. I come first. So, what is it I want? What is my well being? Can I financially provide? Am I mentally, socially responsible for the well being of that person? And in the future, for the well being of the children? These are the questions you have to ask. You have to do deep work. And also, you meet someone. Are you two, sexually compatible? Yeah. Like, you take a car for a test drive, or before you buy the car, right? Or before you buy the shoe, you put the shoe on, right? But okay, and sexual compatibility, Google it. It's a very, very important issue. Are you two sexually compatible? You have to find it out before marriage. And what is this sex, no sex before marriage? Some backdated idea. Before, back then, what was the population of the world, and what is it today? Yeah, think about it. No sex before marriage. Like, you know, sex before marriage, again, it's putting the vagina on a metaphorical pedestal. Nothing more, nothing less. Sex before marriage, pure virgin, this and that. It's, yeah, those who are inexperienced in this topic, yeah, they'll take it. They're gullible, they'll accept it. But those who have deep knowledge in this topic, they're not. Especially these people, they want this pure person, this virgin, this and that. These people are insecure within themselves. And being single, like, what are the things you find you enjoy being single? Write a list. Being single, I like being single. This. I feel this. Positives and negatives. If the positives outweigh the negatives, then you don't need to get married. It should be, I thoroughly believe it should be based on the individual's choice. Yeah, of course, parents are going to say that because they want to see grandchildren, right? That's what parents are for. Yeah, my parents do it too. So, no exceptions. So, anybody having any questions? Any questions? Any agreements, disagreements? Come on, we got to keep the conversation flowing. Come on. I'm really waiting. Come on. Somebody, please come and give me your thoughts. I would love to hear it. We still got 40 minutes left. Come on. Nobody? Nobody here? In fact, yeah, the concept of marriage, to tell you the truth, yeah, it's been there. A religion, yeah, it's been in the pagan religions, the concept of marriage. The concept of marriage, what we see today, it's mostly based on the Abrahamic religions like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, as well as the Vedic religions, as well as Vedic religions, which also include Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. Besides Sanatan religion or Sanatan Dharma. So yes, back then marriage, it used to marriage work, and in fact, many people, why they want to get married? It's actually a way of making money. It's a way of earning money, getting married. It's not my word. Go look it up. Google it. So those of you who feel like you're being pressured to get married, would love to hear your comments here. Who feel it's getting pressured, or those even who feel like, yeah, you can get married, you're responsible enough. Please put your comments here. I would love to hear it. Oh, we have one comment. Let me read this. Oh yeah. In fact, before before we go up, before you get into this marriage issue, let's talk about relationships, boyfriend girlfriend. Yeah, boyfriend girlfriend, or let's go into the dating topic. You see, uh, as a guy, you should be dating more than one woman. Why is that? Dating more than one woman? Because what happens is, if you're dating one woman, you're gonna put, as they say, the proverbial, putting all your eggs in one basket. See, that's what you're gonna do. All in one basket. You're gonna put all hopes and dreams on that one person, and you get, you will develop a scarcity mindset. You will become needy, and you'll do a lot of needy things, which will tell you. I'll tell you the truth. It'll make her lose interest in you. So by dating multiple women, you drop. You will not put all your effort in one woman. By dating, at least three, four women, what happens is you get an idea of different types of women, different mentalities. It's from there you can choose to be in a relationship, to make her your girlfriend after, like, she'll bring it up. Trust me. After 6, 8 months, she'll bring it up. She'll say, "So, what are we? Where is this heading? The situationship. Where is this situationship heading?" She will bring it up. Then you can, do then you can, of course, give your verdict. You see, men are the gatekeepers of relationships. There's no old saying, women are the gatekeepers of sex, men are the gatekeepers of relationships. It's true. We can decide if we want to have a long term or a short term relationship, like casual relationship, casual sex, like we can decide it. But yes, of course, women decide who to give their bodies to. It's only their decision and their decision only. You should respect that. However, men will decide, have the final say in the relationship. So having said that, especially for men, don't commit to marriage unless you feel like it. Yeah, just because society said it, just because your parents said it, your relatives said it, this and that. Yeah, I'm just doing that so they won't get upset. I want them to feel good in the inside. And what happens to you on the inside? In the inside, are you happy? Will you be happy with yourself? Answer this question. Will you be happy with yourself? You first have to find the thing that makes you happy. Your self-fulfillment, your happiness. They all come first. Like I said, they all come first. And yeah, in many ways, and it's, yeah, sorry, it's not, marriage a sacred institution. It's not the sacred institution that it once was. I'm sorry to say. People, they just marry and they just leave the marriage, and it turns out it wasn't true love, it was lust. And later they find out they have nothing in common. At least you should have one or two things in common if you truly believe that you two can get married. The common things, like what are your preferences, the things you like, what you like to do, these. Because as they say, like attracts like. There's no denying it. It's a universal truth. Like attracts like. Because you're with you have a different you're of this mental mentality, and the other person, and you will attract someone obviously of the same mentality or similar mentality, but not someone with a less similar mentality, equal. Like the things you like to do, your preferences, in whatever it might be, favorite this, favorite food, favorite item, the favorite hobbies, you will attract someone with that. Yeah, and if you two can, if you two prefer, and if you two should talk about that marriage thing. Like if you two think that, yeah, of course, in a later part of the relationship, like, yeah, and then you two gel. But if you two, both of you, think that, yeah, you want to take on the further responsibility of marriage, then by all means go ahead. Come on, any questions? Anybody here? Any questions? Any topic? Any comments? Your feedback will be welcome. So, anybody with the feedback? Well, I would love to hear your answers to my question. Like, yes or no? Do you think marriage in today's society, traditional role, is it applicable? I would love to see your answers here. Yes or no? What? Nobody? Nobody's typing anything? Nobody? Uh, we almost have half an hour to go. So again, let's go back to the question: is marriage necessary in today's living? The answer is, from my point of view, is no. And why is it no? I already told you. Like, if you don't feel like it, then don't. Like, if you're feeling pressurized, don't. If you instead, it should come from your own self. Like, yeah, you can take on the responsibility of another person. You can financially bear for that other person. Although nowadays the other person is also uh, doing her job. She's earning her money. In fact, can you two financially or socially, mentally be responsible for each other? This is a big question you should all be asking yourselves before you decide to get married. Because marriage is not for everyone. Anybody, please want to give their feedback? We would love to hear it. Your feedback as well. Feedback will be welcomed. Anybody? So, do you feel like you want to get married, or do you feel pressured? I would love to see that. I would love to see the comments. I would love to see your input, viewers. Come on, we've got half an hour left. And yeah, I want to talk about that part. Like, before whatever trauma you have, You feel like you feel you're incomplete. You need someone to complete you. You're dependent on someone. You see, you cannot be dependent on someone but your own self. Because at the end of the day, you can say no one, at the end of the day, no one's coming to save you. You have to learn to save yourself. You have to be your own person. You have to do the inner work. The inner work, or let's say it's called deep work. So, what is deep work? Let's see. Deep work. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Present. Let's see. Screen. Okay. Share screen. Here we go. Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Okay. 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 Going for sharing. System audio share. Yeah, this is my first time. Okay. So I'm going to share it. Be careful with sharing screen, other person. Oh, this is my first time. You're sharing everything you hear, including their voices. One of each. Got it. Okay, so I'm going to share screen. And here we go. What it is, doing deep work. Doing deep work. So, why did I do this? Because this is relevant to this topic. The person who feels like they're pressurized to get married, or who feels like they don't want to get married, or should they get married, or they feel like or they feel that they can get married. I would like to say, have you done the deep work? This is the deep work. What is deep work? 7 ways to boost your concentration. What does it mean to do deep work? Here we have an excellent definition. To achieve deep work means to spend uninterrupted time with complete focus on the task at hand. You'll have to block out time for your priorities, turning off notifications and making yourself unavailable. Yeah, like you have to focus yourself on one topic, deeply focus yourself. Have you done that deep work for prolonged periods of time without distracted? So let's have a look at this, a complete guide. Let's have a timely app, a complete guide. Okay, opening, here we go. Deep work, a complete guide. Everybody, you see the link? Yeah, you read the link. Okay, let's read. What is deep work? Deep work is the ability to concentrate deeply on a difficult task for prolonged periods of time without getting distracted. It creates that intense, out of body kind of focus that makes you completely obvious to what's going on around you, the kind that produces your best work. The term deep work was coined by Cal Newport, associate professor of computer science at Georgetown University and author of Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. And the concept has been quickly adopted as a useful antidote for modern working practices saturated with unrewarding and unproductive distractions. Deep work versus shallow work. Deep work stands in opposite direction to shallow work. Non-cognitively demanding, highly replicable tasks that don't create any real value and can be performed in a state of distraction, like managing email, responding to Slack, and logging timesheets. This shallow work leads us to spending huge amounts of our day switching context, which reduces our ability to perform our cognitive peak. It takes about 23 minutes to refocus after each distraction. Why is deep work so important? Let's be real. Many of us suffer from inbox anxiety, and can't go 30 minutes without checking our email. We're immediately available to new requests using asynchronous tools synchronously and dropping whatever we're doing to check a Slack notification or answer an unimportant email. As a result, our digital interactions have become increasingly passive, built around receiving and consuming information instead of acting with intention. Our perpetual busyness is unrewarding and stressful and dilutes the attention we have available for our work. It makes it impossible to reflect on what truly matters and whether our efforts are actually useful. This is precisely what deep work aims to solve. It's a method for reclaiming productive focus, for being present on the work that matters, and for working with impact. The benefits of deep work. Newport positions the ability to perform deep work as a key to securing competitive advantage in the workplace. Those who practice it will outstrip colleagues with the quality and quantity of their work and ultimately land the best jobs. But, he argues, it also has a deeper aim of satisfaction and happiness, in contrast to shallow work, which is draining, stressful, and unsatisfying. Deep work challenges people to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. The fulfillment gained from concentrating intently on a high skill task is one he feels can be extended to life more generally, not least the ability to immerse yourself in whatever you're doing in one moment and achieve better presence is useful. So, deep living is equal to good living. That said, deep work isn't easy, a skill that needs to be developed. You can't just expect to be good at it right away. It requires routine and sustained willpower. More on that further down, but sticking with it is certainly worth the effort. Here are just four of the biggest deep work benefits you can expect to enjoy with regular practice. Remember, this is very relevant to the topic at hand. Unparalleled focus. The ability to do deep work is a skill, and like any skill, the more you work on it, the more proficient you become. Strengthening your deep work muscles helps improve your concentration, helping you focus on a specific task. Sorry, lock focus on a specific task and stick at it for longer periods of time. You might begin only to being able to focus deeply for 45 minutes, but regular practicing and pushing deep work can help you scale this. Aside from boosting your productivity and the quality of your work, being able to work on mentally taxing tasks for long periods of time helps you build presence in everything you want to do. See how it's relevant to the topic? Enhanced employability. Deep Works helps us quickly develop new skills and solve the complex problems that move companies forward. In addition, working at an elite level where you produce more and better work in less time clearly comes with huge competitive advantages. Since deep work is currently under practiced as a skill, Newport believes that those who can produce high quality work at a superior rate will quickly outpace their colleagues and land the best jobs. In an increasingly automated future, this ability to quickly grasp and engage new skills is also essential to our job security and continued employability. Number three, better job satisfaction. Number four, an improved sense of self. Yes, very relevant to the topic. When we're constantly distracted and multitasking, it's difficult to remember what really matters and reflect on what we're actually contributing towards that. People naturally search for meaning and connection, but a constant flow of shallow work and multitasking leaves little cognitive space for this. In contrast, deep work challenges us to consider the true value of our time. It's about understanding what work actually helps you achieve your goals and redirecting your efforts to immerse yourself in it. In championing time and mental energy for our most important useful work, Newport believes that regular deep work can support a state of eudaimonia, where we feel we're achieving our full human potential. Deep work sounds pretty simple in principle. Just get some quiet time and focus on a piece of work for a while, right? But actually takes quite a lot of discipline and thought to continually repeat. There's a whole supportive framework behind deep work to ensure you actually get quality work out of it, whatever your roles and responsibilities, whatever you're working on. The following section breaks down, okay? So, everybody, you've seen this link, so you know what to look for, okay? So, I'm going to finish sharing, stop sharing. There. Okay. So again, anybody regarding about that deep work I just mentioned right now? I can share the screen again. We can check it together. 20 minutes to go. Okay, now let's try this one. Let's see. In today's day and age, is it necessary? Hold on, let's do it. All right. Oh, we have an excellent link. I'm gonna share it right now. Hold on. I'm gonna share it. Everybody's gonna read it. I'll give you the link. Okay. Sharing screen again. Or share it again. Share screen. Share. Go. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Hold on. What is marriage and is it necessary? I'll just read a little bit from here. Sadhguru explains that marriage should not be a social prescription but an individual choice based on the needs of each person. Exactly my point. He also touches on live in relationships, divorce, and how a marriage ceremony should be conducted. Okay, so let's read some from Sadhguru. What is marriage? Let us understand why marriage exists. As a human being, either as a man or a woman, you have certain needs. When you were 8 years old, if I had asked about marriage, the question would not have meant anything to you. If I had asked you when you were 14, you might have been a little shy because you were considering. Because your body started growing in a certain way and hormones started infecting your intelligence, you were thinking about it. If I had asked you at 18, there would have been a clear yes or no, not now or not at all, depending on what happened to you between the ages of 14 to 18. The word marriage might have acquired a very negative aura around it in certain parts of the world now because there's a sense of juvenile freedom. Young people in some societies perceive marriage as a bad thing. When you're young, you're against it because your physical body is in a certain mode. Marriage looks like a bondage and a chain. You want to do things in a certain way, but slowly. When the body weakens once again, you wish there was someone with you in a committed way. This is a very juvenile feeling. When I'm strong, I do not need anyone. When I become weak, I wish there was someone with me. I think a partnership should be formed when you are at the peak of your well being. When you have fallen, you will make desperate partnerships. When you are well, when you are at the peak of your life, that is when you must make a partnership which will take you through all those ups and downs. As a human being, you have physical needs, emotional needs, psychological needs, social needs, and economic needs. People may not want to consciously think about these things because they think their marriage will become ugly if they do. But these needs and considerations do exist. For women today, the world is very important. The world has changed to some extent. She need not necessarily get married for social and economic reasons. Which I was just explaining, since the beginning of this discussion, beginning of this chat. She has a choice. She can take care of her own economics and social situations. It was not so 100 years ago. There's a little bit of freedom now. At least two of the other reasons why you need to get married are out. You have to consider the other three. Psychologically, do you need a companion in your life? Again, it goes to back what I was asking. Do you need emotional companionship? And how strong are your physical needs? You must look at this as an individual. This is not a social prescription. Everyone gets married or no one gets married. It's not going to work that way. As an individual, how strong are your needs? Again, as an individual, how strong are your needs? Is this some kind of a passing need that you can easily go beyond? If it is, do not get married because it's not worth getting tied up. If you do, It's not just two people, but a family that has to face the consequences. I'm not saying marriage is wrong. Do you want it? And that is the question. Each individual should consider this for himself or herself, not by the social norm, which again I was talking about since the beginning. There's nothing wrong with getting married, but if you get married without you having the need to do so, then it is a crime because you will cause misery to yourself and at least one other person. When someone asked Gautama, the Buddha, should I have a companion? He said it's better to walk alone than to walk with a fool. Whoa. I'm not that cruel. I'm saying if you find a similar fool, then something can be worked out. Again, as I was saying, same mentality, same mindset, but based on your need, not because of what society's saying, not because others are getting married. Marriage or live it. Okay, I would say at least 25 to 30% of the people do not need to get into marriage because it's just a passing interest for them. For another 30 to 40%, it may be a little longer and they get into this. For 10 to 12 years, they feel good, and after that, they think it's a burden. But there are some people for whom the need is very strong. About 25 to 30% need partnerships for a much longer period. They definitely need to get into such arrangements. Right now, people have found other kinds of solutions. Okay, I won't get married. I'll just live in. If you're just living with one person, is it anyway a marriage? Whether you have a certificate or not. But if you think you can choose your partners every weekend, oh, you're causing serious damage to yourself. Because just as your mind has a memory, your body has a much stronger sense of memory. The body imbibes and retains experiences beyond the memory that you carry in your mind. The importance of marriage. In the Indian tradition, physical intimacy is called Runana Bandha, which refers to the body's physical memory. The body develops a deep sense of memory through physical intimacy. It will respond and react in many ways based on this memory. If you imprint too many memories, there will be a confusion in the body and a certain level of misery. You can clearly see this with people who are loose with their life and their physical body. They never know any real sense of joy. Please watch this carefully around you. They can never laugh totally, nor can they cry totally. They become like this because confusing memories in the physical body in one lifetime will create a lot of impressions. A live in relationship is not the solution to handle your needs. There's no best thing. Live your life in such a way that whatever you're doing that absolutely. Either you go into marriage or you simply go beyond these needs. But this is something that you have to look at individually. How strong is your need? If you want to look at this with clarity, without social influence, it's always best that you take some time off. Let's say a month. When you make this decision, you must be in a state of clarity. You must not be influenced by anyone. Just meditate and bring yourself into a certain state of clarity. In that clarity, look at how strong your needs really are. If you find that marriage is not necessary, that is it. Once you make a decision, do not look at that way. Do not look that way. If you make a decision to go one way, do not look the other way. You must do one of these things. If you hang around in between, you will remain in a constant state of confusion, which is the best thing. There is no best thing. Live your life in such a way that whatever you're doing that absolutely. If you have this quality, whatever you do, it is fine. Okay, stop sharing. Stop sharing. Hmm. Okay, we got a comment. No, Hasibul Hassan, Dr. Francis. Okay, anybody. Feedback, your feedback, please. We'd love to hear comments, feedbacks. Feedbacks. We have 11 minutes to go. Your feedbacks, please. Mr. Mufassil, would you come and share your thoughts? We have 10 minutes left. Okay, someone asked Sadhguru a question. Too many today, many youngsters do not want to marry, and those who are married are getting divorced. Just like I was saying in the beginning of the topic. Would you like to throw some light on the situation, Sadhguru? One aspect of marriage is about bringing a certain sanctity to the simple basic needs that every human being has. Marriage is to bring some organization, aesthetic, and stability because man and women coming together naturally used to bring fresh life. The nature of human offspring is such that because of the possibilities that a human being carries compared to any other creature, it is the most helpless life and needs the maximum amount of support. You could leave a puppy on the street. As long as it gets food, it grows up into a good dog. But not so with human beings. They need just not just physical support, but a variety of supports, and above all, a stable situation. When you are 3 or 4 years of age, you are 100% for marriage, your parents' marriage. When you become 45, 50 again, you are 100% for marriage. Between 18 and 35, you're questioning the whole institution. If at the time when the physical body is dominant, you give into it, you will question every institution. This is a hormone fired freedom. Excuse me. Your intelligence has been hijacked by hormones. So you question the fundamentals of everything. I'm not saying marriage is the thing, but do you have a better alternative? We have not come up with a better alternative because a stable situation is a must for your child. Marriage is about choosing consciously. Just like I was saying, it's not compulsory or necessary for everyone to get married and have children. We would advise everyone to get married if the human race was in danger of disappearing. But the human population is exploding. If you do not reproduce, you do humanity a great service. Before you get into marriage, and especially if you have children, it is a minimum 20-year project. That is, if they do well. If they do not do well, oh, it's a lifelong project. If you want to get into such projects, there must be a commitment to create a stable situation for at least 20 years. Otherwise, you should not get into such projects. Drop it halfway and walk away. And there's no need to talk about marriage and divorce in the same breath, sorry, as if they come together. No one thought of divorce in India until recently. If it so happens something went entirely wrong between two people, there's no way to fix it, and they have to separate. It is unfortunate, but it happens. But you do not have to plan it at the time of the wedding. Okay, so someone asked a question: how to make marriage work. How do I choose the right person for companionship and marriage? Trying to find the perfect partner is expecting the impossible. Absolutely true. I agree. One reason why marriage can be tumultuous is because you have to share so many things in this relationship. The issue is neither marriage nor is it about a man and a woman, husband and wife. In any situation where you are forced to share a lot with other people, you will face similar problems. In a marriage or cohabitation, you usually have to share the same space, the same everything. Consequently, every day you're treating on each other's toes in one way or the other. In other relationships, if someone is overstepping the boundaries, you can create a distance. Here, you don't have a choice. The greater the overlap, the greater the possibility of friction. Come on, we got 6 minutes left. Anybody? Feedback, feedback. Questions, comments, agreements, disagreements? Anybody? Mr. Mufassil, would you want to give your closing thoughts? Last 6 minutes? There are many couples who are living beautifully together, who are profoundly in love, and who are fantastic companions to each other. At the same time, this relationship can assume the ugliest forms. It's a double edged sword, remember it, everybody. Viewers, it's a double edged sword. One contributing factor is that generally No one gets to know the ugly things that are happening behind closed doors. If someone on the street steps on your feet, you'll react in a different way, if because everyone's watching. But in this relationship, no one's watching, so anything can happen. What is needed to make a successful marriage is not the perfect person. There is no perfect person on the planet. Everybody, get this in your head. What you need is absolute integrity. Whether someone is watching or not, you should act in the same way. Who you are should not change depending upon where and with whom you are. I'll say it one more time. Who you are should not change depending upon where and with whom you are. Once you've established your way of being, interacting with another person can be a joy. Another aspect is that if you try to extract something out of each other and you or the other person does not get what he or she wants, there will be constant conflict. Another point to remember is that you are not getting married out of charity for the other person. You're getting married because you have needs. If the other person is willing to provide them to you and you live in gratitude, then there will not be too much friction. Do not look for the ideal man or the ideal woman. There is none. If you understand that it is your needs that make you seek a companion, find someone who's reasonably compatible with you. If you accept respect, love, include care for, and take responsibility for each other, it can be a beautiful relationship. Okay, so what is the purpose of marriage? Binding of anything has to be done well. Otherwise, what is the point? We can bind in such a way that if one dies, the other will also die. If one gets enlightened, the other will also get enlightened. There are positives also, but on an average, the number of people who get sick, the number of people who die, the number of people who go crazy are more than the number of people who ever get enlightened. So we do not take that risk. With a certain amount of effort and certain price attached to life, it should be possible to untie, but there will be a price. Bibaho, vivaha. It's an organic process of tying two organisms in such a way that at least there's a segment of them where they cannot make out of which is which, and that is good because they experience some sense of union. We're hoping that they will use this as a stepping stone for a larger union. Keys to a successful marriage. Number one, take two heartfuls of love. Add a liberal dose of understanding. Work on it a little. Number three, that is. Number four, warm it up with some joy. Number five, offer it to each other. So hold on. Those are the 5 points that I've done. I've mentioned about making a happy and successful marriage. So anybody, last 2 minutes. It's almost going to be 1 minute. Last 1 minute. Anybody, give a comment. Anybody, a comment? Any feedback? So this is what I've spoken in a nutshell about marriage in today's living today's society. About the marriage, the role of marriage, or the concept of marriage. So yeah, that's what it is. So if you have any thing to say, if you want to add something closing, we still have 1 minute. The floor is open. In fact, this article by Sadhguru I just shared and I read, and a previous article I just shared and read. Yeah, exactly. They're saying the same things. More or less, I agree with them. So, like I said, if do you feel responsible or do you like to do the things by yourself? Remember, everything you're sharing when you get married, you have to share each other's pains. In fact, sharing this, sharing that, like you can be discreet. You can't be discreet, it's going to cause more and more friction. So, yeah, everybody, bye. And see you again next Thursday.